Organisms can be viewed as flesh and blood machines. Like machines, we require fuel. Like machines, we can be put to work for a specific cause. Like machines, we can be repaired or redesigned for new purposes. And like machines, we can be compelled into performing a certain action at the push of
it accelerated in proportion dramatically.
The possibility that Air America flew drugs is still hotly disputed by many former senior officers.
You can question any number of people who were there, who actually were there, not people who claim that they had some knowledge of rumors. You can question any number of people, and I venture to say that they will all support what I'm saying, and that is that there was no commercial
of human behavior had always intrigued philosophers, but it wasn't until the Enlightenment and the era of capitalist industrialization that men began to think that they could control life forms in the same way they controlled objects.
Prior to that,
trade in opium going on.
And I was on the airstrip. That was my job, to move in and about and to go from place to place. And my people were in charge of dispatching aircraft. I was in the areas where opium was transshipped. I personally was a witness to opium being placed on aircraft, American aircraft. I witnessed it being taken off.
To discuss a great threat to peace, an American determination to lead the world in confronting that threat. The threat comes.
When you think of the Middle Ages, even much of the Renaissance, the idea was that things were interrelated. They were organically a whole. In that sense, the Middle Ages had a lot in common with
smaller aircraft that were coming in from outlying sites.
Yes, I've seen the sticky bricks come on board, and no one was challenging their right to carry it. It was their own property.
Neil Hansen is a former senior Air America pilot, now serving a sentence for smuggling cocaine.
We were some sort of a
from Iraq.
Meanwhile, in Iraq,
traditional peasant or folk cultures around the world. Things are seen as basically being a kind of giant web of influence. Everything is like a chain where if you plucked one part, the other part would resonate. That was the previous view, worldview that had
freebie airline in some respects there. Whoever the customer or the local representative put on the airplane, we flew. Primarily it was transported on our smaller aircraft, the Helios, the Porters, and the things like that that would.
The fundamental problem with Iraq remains the nature of the regime itself.
Great advantages and also great disadvantages. With the scientific revolution in the 17th century, that view altered, in which things were seen as mechanical parts that intervened. The mechanical philosophy of the 17th century was a very crucial step in the rise of capitalism. Because capitalism does that. For example, it sees the earth at distance. It sees the earth as something to be mined and exploited. It sees the earth as dead. So capitalism and mechanical philosophy went together very well. And that, in many ways, made possible the Industrial Revolution.
We have a country where to assimilate you have to speak English. I'm not the first one to say this, Dana. We've had many people over the years, for many, many years, saying the same thing. This is a country where we speak English, not Spanish.
Trump, take 30 seconds.
Let me just, he wants to be a tough guy. A lot of times.
The rise of modernity. And there again, we can say there are great advantages to it, and also great disadvantages to it. Civilizations usually come as a package deal. There's a light side and a dark side. Every civilization believes in its own propaganda, so
visit the little outlying villages. They would send their opium to market.
From the villages, the planes took their cargo over the mountains to Longchen, CIA headquarters for the war. It was a secret city, unmarked on any map and carefully hidden from outsiders. Longchen became one of the busiest airports in the
You'll have, and it doesn't work very well. How tough is it to take times property from an elderly woman? Let me talk quiet.
to emphasize the light side and forgets about the shadows.
For the behaviorists, it started with plants. Julius Sachs at the University of Würzburg enumerated a set of tropisms, defined as any directed
world, with hundreds of landings and takeoffs a day.
And at the height of the war, then there were thousands of people in there. There were villages all over. There were landing pads up on what we call Skyline Drive, which was the ridge on the north side of Longchen. T-28s were going in and out of there. C-130s were going in and out of there. It was an amazing place.
Very well.
How tough is it to take property from an elderly woman?
Let me talk quiet.
How
A
tough
lot
is
of
it?
times, that's all of his donors and special interests out there. So,
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
Very